How I tie arming points. And what I'm using is the simplest slip knot imaginable. One of the simplest knots of any kind that there is. And basically what I'm doing is I'm crossing over one line, more or less, or at least this is how you can get started. I actually tie them a little bit differently in practice. Anyway, so what I'm doing is I'm forming another loop here, and I'm passing it through the first loop. So it's like that. And anyway, tighten the thing up. And it is very secure. I've never had one of these things come untied in use. And I've been using them for decades. But they quick release, which is a very handy feature for armor. Although I think the thing is that these things in some types of cording material can become so tight as a result of having pressure coming up from beneath them against the knot that that whole thing about using waxed crossbow cord for arming points is probably a good idea, because it probably helps with making these things easier to release quickly. So it doesn't require as much force to untie them. Now the double cord version is the same thing. Both cords at once, taken, forming a loop like that, and passing both those loops through at the same time. And there we go. And so anyway, that is the 2-cord loop. Now, why would you do this? Well, the thing is, if you're, particularly on your couters, which encounter an awful lot of stresses in real, basically like late medieval and Renaissance combat, hand-to-hand combat, you might not want to rely on just one cord. Might get cut, something might get pulled, whatever. Well, the good thing about the 2 cords is that even if one of the cords is somehow cut, released, whatever, the other one remains. So you still have you basically have redundancy on the field that way. And anyway, so the thing about tying these things and tying them at the tightness you desire is that the way I'm tying this thing right now is not really quite how I do it when I'm actually doing it on a piece of armor. And I don't think it would show up on camera very well anyway. But you soon get practice at knowing where to hold the cord in the knot and that sort of thing to get things pretty tight. Absolutely tight, no, it won't do that. But I don't think you really have to, at least I haven't. So anyway, that's my take on the arming point.